All right, we're live. As always, educational, not for financial advice. Big move pre-market with the CPI coming in line. So that was your big sprint up this morning. We come back, and really your biggest decision today for you people that are on the paid side is just this pivot right here. 851 and a quarter on the weekly. Is it going to hold? Can we push through R1 at 885, which we're currently doing with green candles? For me, as long as it holds this 851, we've got a good retest there. And I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it. The retest was brief. We got above, we kind of failed. We got on top, we held right here, and now we're heading higher. So as long as that holds, you look higher. 30,647 to 30,727 if we can clear this R1. I know this has been a little bit of a headache spot, but those are the two targets that will present as long as we hold pivot. Okay, if we can't hold pivot, of course, we're not holding at 885. For me, the pivot is the ultimate decision this week, just because that's our weekly pivot. And above that, you have to look bullish and look higher. And we're trying to push there now, which is always a good thing, because me personally, I don't want to get caught in chop and over trading. So when I use these bigger levels, I just try to be on that side and say, hey, this is higher. We're bullish. So that's what we're going to look at. We're trying to get through the R1 on the monthly. And like I said, you see, we've peaked above it a couple times, even this morning. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it go through and then retest that level as well and head higher. But right now, the ultimate is this 851 and looking higher for that. Sorry, just checking some requests I'm getting while I'm on here, while I am with y'all. That is what we have to base every decision on that we are currently making, because we don't want to fight the wrong battle. And we just play level to level. And right now, resistance, look above, just a brief peak below, right in that European close. Always remember 10:30 Central Time is the European close for us. But it always seems like it takes towards 11 to really find any traction after, you kind of get Europe off of the books, and we kind of look to see what we're wanting to do there. So that's the NQ. We've talked about SMH a lot. Like I said, that's who's driving. We know that 580 was a big level because that was on the quarterly pivots that I talked about. But you can see we've broke above R1, which is 78. We're trying to hold the weekly pivot. So you start putting that picture together in your mind. Hey, who's gonna be a leader in the market? SMH is going to be a big leader here. We are on the weekly pivot. So keep that in mind. If it fails, the NQ is going to fail. Everything's going to look different. So ride with that. Don't fight it. Okay, I know there's like I said, there's a lot of fires burning on the home front, but we can't play that. We've got to play our levels. ES trying to get to the weekly pivot. The NQ will have to be the one to drive that higher. If it drives higher, then we will have the ES will follow. So R1 has been a big line in the sand. You can see several touches against this R1 at 77.93 and a quarter. So if you're an ES player, boy, you need to be above that to really get some blue skies and get moving. The dangerous Dow, let's take a quick peek. Below the weekly pivot, not to R1. So it's a little weaker today, only up 0.9%. Versus the NQ is up that was 0.09% for the Dow, 0.09, and we're up 0.9 right here on the NQ. So a little more money flowing that way today. It's always subject to change. Have your stop losses below. If you get back below that, don't fight it. Just wait for a different level. But right now, we are trying to paint a little bit of a bullish picture there. Let's go look at XLK really quick, the other part of the market. Apple, Microsoft, all the big names there holding the weekly pivot. Same for the mags. We can look at the mags. And what I'm trying to do is just paint a picture for the NQ to see what it's going to do. We cannot get over the weekly picture on the Magnificent Seven. We can't get over the weekly pivot, and it has had a rough day. If this gets going, it will help the Qs drastically as well. But right now, the one doing all the heavy lifting is SMH, because when you look at like MU, it's up $55 running into R1 on the monthly. So can it push that? That's been a headache rack 1, 2, 3 times. And last month, that same level that just happens to be R1 this month. So 933 on MU is a huge level that needs to go to make this thing go higher. Always remember, VIX low, look out below for the market, but they are bleeding this VIX below the weekly pivot and trying to head south. 1313, boy, that would be a massive number for that VIX to hit. I think it just hit a 7th month low. I seen somebody post that earlier in one of my notes to me that, hey, the VIX has hit a 7-month low. That means insurance is cheap. That means puts are cheap. So pay attention to that, and we'll see what it does. I can jump over to the QQQ, holding R1, holding the weekly pivot, which is just the NASDAQ in a different form. So keep that in mind. That looks good. Doesn't look bad, right? We've got green candles. We're holding pivot. We're above R1 on the hourly. They are gray, but we go green, we go gray. Hopefully we go back to green, and we can try to push based on those factors. All right, I'm going to jump over and do a free session and talk about the USO prints and some other stuff that come through yesterday that were big hot topics that I seen that are just interesting. Look at the daily and the 4-hour pivots for my scalpers. So if you're interested in that, come over and I will also post that. All right, as always, we will talk soon.